Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to organize your sidebar navigation on a Google site. I know this is a common problem for people who are starting out with sites. When they go to edit it, sometimes it disappears, sometimes they change things, and I know it can be a terrifying event if all of a sudden your sidebar's gone or something's changed. So I wanted to take a second to show you how to fix that if that does happen. Here I am on my test site. Anything that I want to edit outside of this main center page, I'm going to do in the gear settings. And then if it's about the layout, I'm going to go down to Edit Site Layout. This will bring up a bar at the top. You can see you're in editing mode because you all of a sudden have this button that says Edit Site Layout with different options here. Also the big close button in the top corner. So along the top here, these are all buttons that allow you to turn on and off settings of your layout. So right now I don't have a custom footer turned on, but I could turn it on if I click this button. What happens to a lot of people is they go to try to edit the sidebar, but they actually click this button and disable it. Now, if I click that, you'll see my sidebar is all of a sudden gone. If I click the sidebar button again, it turns back on. You can see my sidebar is still there. Now, if I want to actually edit an individual part of the page, if I take my mouse and start hovering, you'll see that different parts will highlight. So here I am highlighting the header. If I click on this, it'll let me edit the header. Likewise, if I hover over to the sidebar, you can see I have some options here. Now this button that says sidebar, you can see that there's a little edit button next to it. If I click that edit button, that's actually giving me only the tools to edit the full sidebar. But a sidebar is like a mini page. You can have individual parts to a sidebar. So there's really not a lot of options in this edit menu. It just decides where the sidebar is and its width. So I'll hit OK. However, if you want to edit what's in the navigation is its own individual item inside the sidebar. Now here I'm hovering over the navigation just under the sidebar, and you can see you have different options. This X will actually let you delete the entire navigation. Now if you're just going really fast, maybe you hit OK, your sidebar will disappear, and that you can't really get back the way it was, but we can add it again pretty simply. The way you add a sidebar item is to click the plus button next to where it says sidebar, and then it gives you different options. These are all the items you can put in your sidebar. Now the most common is navigation, which is what we just deleted, but you do have some other options here if you wanted to spiffy up your sidebar. A common one might be a countdown. Okay, but I'm going to click add by sidebar, and my sidebar will pop back up. Now it's automatically navigation and it's empty. So if I now want to add something to my navigation, I just hover over navigation. Instead of hitting the X button, which will close it, I click on the title and it actually opens up the settings. So here's where I can decide how I want my navigation set up. The easiest thing is to have it automatically organized. So if I click automatically organize my navigation and hit OK, you'll see that it will just populate the sidebar according to the page structure I already have on my Google site. If you're really good about putting the pages where you want them, then this works pretty well. But I know a lot of people want things to be in a different order. So let me go back into the navigation editing mode. So I'll click on where it says navigation, and I'll uncheck the automatically organize my navigation. Now you'll see this big white box. This is where you manually add the pages. So if I click add page, it'll actually bring up a list of all the pages on my website. And you do have to add them one by one. So I'm going to go ahead and click my documents. I'm going to go through and just add all the pages I want and put them up into the list. I'll add the summary page. And if I go back and I see there's a plus sign next to summary, that means that's a parent page and there are pages dependent on it. So if I click on the plus, it'll open that up and I can see all these different weeks underneath. Now, if I'm going to have maybe 35 weeks in a school year, I don't necessarily want to show all of those along the side, so I'm actually not going to add them here. Okay, so I'm not going to click on one to add it. I'm actually going to go ahead and hit cancel. So now the only pages that I will have in my sidebar will be my documents, my list, my profile, and summary. But I won't be showing all of the weeks like it would if I had been organizing this automatically. On the side here, you can change the order of these different items. So if I wanted maybe the profile at the top, I can click the top button, it'll move it up in the page. If I think my list is maybe a sub page of my documents, maybe I didn't put it in that right place when I built it, but I want it to look like it for my users, I can actually hit the indent button and it will make my list appear underneath my document. Another feature here is the add URL. This would be if you wanted to add a link to another page. So I'm just going to go ahead and say like search and google.com. Usually if you're doing a URL, you're going to navigate them away from the page, so it's a good idea to open in a new window. And I'll add it there, and you can see there's a search button now. That little arrow means it's going to take them away from my website onto a URL. On this page, you can also decide if you want to display the title navigation, and you can also turn on and off whether or not you have a site map link and a recent activity link. So once I've pressed OK, you can see I'm still in Edit Site Layout, so I still have to close that by going to the top right-hand corner, click and close, and now I'm back to where I started. This is how my page looks, and this is what my sidebar looks like with my customized setup.